share some poems from a variety of my collections, but most of them are from savagery. I'll start with a love letter, and like most love letters, there is plenty of torridness within it. I should preface this a little bit by saying both of my parents, and actually everybody in my immediate family, were alcoholics. This is Should Whiskey Write a Love Letter Back? I love whiskey, adore everything about it. The ritual, my favorite dense tumbler, the taste that brings me back to 19. All the bad decisions rolled up neat as tombstones. I'm here for the scent of tar still clinging dumb to vinyl stools. For the dim and the din, only the last bar in town without a television can muster. I love it enough to be whole with one. Some nights need it to fill me all the way up. When the tour guide in Lynchburg told us, with the strong stuff, you hug the amber in your mouth along your tongue for 6 seconds, it all made sense. My apex can tame that wandering, my body the wild my parents birthed into me, the root of all my best failures. It asks less than a winning bull ride, this spheral purring down my throat. When I started writing this, I had no idea what the anatomy of the tongue was, so I Googled it. Body, root, apex. Yeah, well, that was just begging to be written. I love it when it works out that way. This is How to Talk to the Dying. Both my sister and my father died of complications from hepatitis C, which, as most people know, is pretty rare these days. Well, to die from it is pretty rare. I looked up what to say to the dying because words get stuck in my hands. There's no good answers. You died the same way our father did, yellow skin and lion eyes. What do you say to your sister out on the reservation? I love you. That's it. Your husband told me you smiled and poured your own love you back into me all the way down through the wires. The voice, deep, dark, and foreign, like a stranger's always is. Speaking of pretendian, this is Bad Indian. It's actually the title of a book coming out in April by Brickmantle Press. And I wrote this well before Elizabeth Warren was a contender, perhaps the contender for the Democratic Party. Bad Indian, not a speaker. Who gives a damn if they beat it out of my father in residential boarding school? They say pretendian, and an old man with creamed blue eyes cackled after demanding my ancestry. Everyone's a Cherokee. I apologize. For green eyes, pale skin, it's not enough to soften cries of Waнаbe clan, Elizabeth Warren all over again. Once an elder vet spit on my wanting cheekbones, my braids that I didn't know Lakota. I did not choose my skin or the trauma curdling rancid through my blood. We were born into creation disasters, settled war zones, armed with chance defenses, so forgive me that ivory is my weapon. Poachers try and they show teeth, dressed in polyester and crafted altruism, but I am fast and I remember. I'm Kamama. You really think you got us all? We still roam our land. 13,000 years is a single heartbeat in the whole story. I am telling you, listen. I am hungry. Matriarch made too young. My grief's too big to contain, and like Domini, I will starve 24 days to die from broken chambers, and by God, how you will keen. Spill cracked bone to your knees, pay homage to my skeleton, to this bad Indian. So Kamama is the Cherokee word for elephant. I do not know if that is a recent Cherokee name for it, because I was asked what the Cherokee word for it was, and I had to look it up. And I'm like, why would Cherokees know what an elephant is? And then I looked that up, and apparently about 13,000 years ago, elephant-like creatures were in North America. Still don't know when that word was created by Cherokees, though. Domini was an elephant that was born into captivity and bonded with a fellow elephant for over 20 years. When her partner died, she starved herself for 24 days and died of grief. And to keep the joy going, this is called Dawn and Death in Stratford. I try my best to sequence it okay, but this is how it works out. Also known as the story of how I turned vegetarian, and it's true. I never held a dying thing until today. The pigeon I scooped from the roadside, its neck long and shattered, whispering reassurances to slow blinking eyes. I cradled the broken body in the park while life spiraled to empty. Barely dawn, there wasn't emergency vet services or anyone to watch me carry the body in a split-open Ziploc bag. Afraid to bash his head in, worried I might miss, there was nothing I could do but coo and usher him to closed eyes, stillness, but I carried his heat heavy in my palms all the way to daylight. When I tell that not in poetic form to people, I'm often asked, why didn't you just break his neck? But that is a lot easier to say than do. I did get a do-over of that experience about 2 years later with a mouse when I was in Washington, D.C., and I did do it at that time. That is equally as traumatizing. This is a recipe for an Indian. That really shows how much I read Sylvia Plath and Maya Angelou, basically. How much Indian are you? All of it. Red velvet proofs deep in my solar plexus. Fry bread thighs undercooked, whipped meringue cheekbone peaks, and a blackened cut of feather tattoo marinating over childhood scars, biopsy stitches and mole seasonings from a life of willing the cake burning inside to rise, rise, rise. I got 3 left. 2 are about death. Last one might be worse. All right. Sorry, I tried. This is for my closest friend's cat, Oreo. The falsity of fast deaths. You picture broken necks quick as wishing bones. I didn't know the head could hang for hours, limp and heavy as forgotten, unsqueezed washcloths. That you still had to rush them to the vet, cradle their little heads like overripe persimmons. Cruel, how the nearly dead are sentenced to stare at the earth, the descent so slow, welcoming black soil, readying her grip for the space spooned just for you. All the ways. Know that just because we're quiet doesn't mean we aren't railing inside. We ate herring in red coats, and I told you all the ways I'd kill myself, how your lips were wilder than the moon. It's a lie that we're born alone, die alone. We arrive through slick thighs, wet bellies, and maybe we'll never see our mothers again. Maybe she'll stick to us like burned batter all our lonely lives. And we'll die with all those lovers, gone mothers, animals that licked our hurts, knotted like stowaways in the most secret, desolate chambers of our hearts. They usher us, shaking, straight into the luminous. So I'm going to end on what I think is an experimental form that I created. Please come correct me if I'm wrong, because it's coming out also next year, where I'm claiming that I invented it, and I'm really not wanting to do that if it's out there. But basically, I think I created this a few years ago. It's a form of poetry that can be read forward or backward, word by word, instead of line by line. Line by line is usual with reverse poetry, or there's a term that I can't pronounce, it's astronaut spelled backwards, that is also line by line. I'm calling this the antipode until maybe someone corrects me. I'm going to read it to you first in the forward position, and then I'll let you know when I reverse it. This is called Awakening Bedrooms of Monsters. Monsters of bedrooms awakening in stumbles, baby, the nightmares mean experience. Infants screaming for comfort, give milk and wash diapers. Victim playing, victims blaming, innocence disappearing with understanding. Mama's afternoon, everyone full of drink. Fine, it's history repeating and apples falling close. Kids having babies, thighs sealed with daddy watching, night after night, nothing's different, nothing's different. There is truth and there are lies. Your eyes are closed. We offered prayers to deaf gods. All right, this is it in reverse. God's deaf to prayers offered. We closed our eyes. Your lies are there and truth is there. Different nothings, night after night. Watching daddy with sealed thighs, babies having kids, close falling apples and repeating history. It's fine. Drink a full one every afternoon. Mama's understanding with disappearing innocence. Victims blaming, victim playing, diapers washed and milk give comfort for screaming infants. Experience mean nightmares. The baby stumbles in, awakening bedrooms of monsters.